That's a good thing.
They're approving that.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Jackson, how are you this morning?
Doing well, how are you, Mr. Mayor?
I'm good. What brings you here?
Well, the reason I'm here is, I think everybody in this room knows we've got an emergency in the courtroom, the large courtroom upstairs. And it's reached a point where I don't think I can ask the public to come in any longer into a situation that I think is structurally and environmentally unsafe. I think I've got an alternate plan for courtrooms. The administrative office of the Illinois courts came up with a thing a couple of years ago about having a plan for an alternate courtroom. And basically our alternate plan now is, when the jail was built, there was a room over there that was designated to be a courtroom. It's about this size. And it can be used for first appearances in criminal cases. It can be used for emergency orders of protection, but it can't be used for jury trials. Our alternate plan for jury trials is Johnson County. They've got two courtrooms, two buildings up there. They've got a courthouse with a courtroom, and they've got a building across the street that's got another courtroom, which they maintain mainly because the people have, in case they don't have an elevator in their courthouse. So if someone is unable to use the stairs, they have the courtroom across the street. I really thought it would probably be a long shot that this courtroom was not going to be able to be used, but I mean, I think I'm going to have to shut the large courtroom down until it's environmentally and structurally safe.
Well, now, Joe, you know, I went up there Saturday, me and Hopkins, and I had my my big flashlight with me. And Honeywell says that there's rotten timbers up there. But now I didn't see any. Now I didn't go crawl back up in there like I have in the past and check for leaks. And it's hard to see because of ductwork and all, but it's steel trusses. And then on top of them is the boards. And I didn't see any. And walking on the roof, didn't see any. Or soft, you know. Maybe. I'm sure they know more what to look at than I do.
Well, I had a jury trial that was supposed to start today, and I wasn't going to be able to handle it because I could see that we can't handle court up there. You saw it last week. Yeah. It's like, I mean, with the roof falling in and some of the stuff that's falling in, there's no telling where it's going to fall. And I mean, you know, Ted has put off evidence tape or areas of the courtroom where people can't sit. Yeah. There's other areas where parts of the thing are falling down, and back in the judges' chambers, you know, where things are falling down. And I don't think the repairs are that extensive on the inside, but there's some repairs needed on the inside, and then there's also something needs to be done so that.
Well, until we fix the outside, I don't think there's any sense in fixing the inside, because it's just gonna get ruined right fast.
And I've got a copy. I was gonna make one for each of the three of you, and I haven't made it yet, but I could go back over there and make it from the administrative office of the Illinois courts, what the minimum standards are for a courtroom, and also what the requirements are for us to have a courtroom that's separate from the courthouse in case a tornado hits Metropolis like it hit Brookport.
Alternative.
An alternative courthouse. And I mean, that's something we need to think about, because had we had to have that jury trial, I would have had to move it to Vienna, and that would have cost the county a lot of money if we're going to have to take all of our witnesses, prospective jurors, take everybody, transport them to Vienna so there's a courthouse. And if, you know, if the courthouse is wiped out by a tornado, it might be unforeseeable. But
I think the only thing, Joe, that's going to slow us down is, you know, about that water, that we've got to have that dry up there.
Well, does the county own any facilities that would be suitable for an alternate courtroom for jury trials? I mean, that's something we're all in this together, and I'm just bringing that out. I'm not expecting you to have an answer to that, Joe.
We don't right now. Do we, Jack?
Well, I don't, without knowing what you've got criteria of what it would fit, so I don't.
Well, we wouldn't, for an emergency courthouse, I mean, I could get a waiver. If there is something, the courthouse up here, the Johnson County Courthouse, the Pope County Courthouse, and don't mention all of those down there. I mean, I'm not meaning to pick on them, but the new courthouses like Union County, the new courthouses like Williamson County, you know, they're have to be made compliance with the minimum standards. Yeah. Now, this courthouse was, I've had many of the lawyers that have come in here over the years, I've had many of them tell me that we've got the best courtroom in the First Circuit. They would rather try a jury trial up there than in any other courtroom in the circuit. And if you've been in any of the other courtrooms, I mean, I don't know if you ever been in like Saline County Courthouse?
No,
Courtroom.
just
Well,
Johnson.
they're nice and they're new and then they're in full compliance. This is really an outstanding courtroom. So it's basically for an emergency, I mean, we can apply for a waiver. And for a waiver, I mean, they're not, you know, with the things, I'll get you a copy. Hopefully I have you a copy before you leave, what the minimum standards are. That's for a new courtroom.
Is it in English where I can understand it?
Oh, yeah, it'll probably make your blood pressure go up a little bit. Still understand. But, like I say, that jury trial, and the reason it didn't go, was, I mean, I would've had to, I've been on the horns of a dilemma. I would've either had to say, we're gonna try it in Johnson County, where they have courtroom facilities outside of their courthouse. I mean, they could have jury trials and we could have
Yeah.
a courtroom, or, just continue it. And it turned out that, one of the lawyers had a serious personal problem, so they called up Friday and asked that we take it off the docket for this time. But, you know, we have a criminal docket coming up just about every other month, a criminal or civil docket just about every other month.
What size room would it take?
That's in the, you know, what's
In these
considered,
spaces?
yeah, it doesn't have to be that big. That's what I was saying about Saline County. Their full compliance courtrooms are not,
They're not that impressive,
they're
huh?
not, well, they're nice. I mean, they're carpeted and paneled and they've got seal. I mean, they're nice, but they're, you could put 4 of them in that courtroom.
The small courtroom is too small, I guess. Well, it doesn't have a place for jurors, does it?
Well, there's a number of things that need to be done before you can have a jury trial. And, no, it does, there's a number of things that it couldn't be brought into compliance to handle a jury trial. And, you know, a lot of people may come to court once in their life, maybe never, maybe more than once, but,
Yeah, we're running behind on getting that roof fixed, Joe, and
well, and there's some interior damage too.
oh, yeah,
In the
bad,
courtroom.
yeah.
And as far as, the timbers and stuff, I mean, if that's,
We'll look at it, you know, when we, before we open it back up, you know, for court, but like I say, from the ladder and everything, but there may be some bad places up there. So, and that interior damage, all I know is fix that roof and leave that till, see if it's gonna leak or. What do you think?
Well,
I mean, we're just talking about, you know, 2 or 3 weeks maybe, till, you know, we get some.
you need to make sure it's safe, but
See, Joe, we've always thought that maybe some of that water's coming from those bricks. We've had brick people say that will suck that water in through those bricks and.
is somebody looking for a tuck pointing job?
Well, probably. And then on top, this one window right here, there's a steel plate, I believe, right over that window. And there's a 1/2 inch gap between that plate and those bricks. And they say that's where that water's coming in. But if you'll notice, most of those windows all are damaged. You know, like now it may be, you know how the drainage system is up there?
No.
That,
I've never been up there and.
Joe's got a 3-inch pipe, comes down into the crawl space. I think it was a mistake from where to go. Into the crawl space in 90s and goes out through the wall into these boxes on the gutter. Well, every one of them's leaking, and all that water coming off that roof is leaking at those joints in that gutter, inside the crawl space. In the, juror's room there or something, on this end, where that panel is gone and that's leaked there, I think that's right over there.
Oh, the panel is gone, because it leaked through in the building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not, and it's the same way over in the upstairs judges' chambers, and so it's in the upstairs restroom.
It's gonna be that way in the courtroom.
Well, it is that way,
I mean,
it is that way in the courtroom.
Are they already falling off completely?
Well, no,
I mean,
it doesn't,
it's ruined.
it doesn't have drop ceilings.
Yeah.
See, the room up there above where the prospective juror sits or where the public sits,
Mhm.
the roof above them is not the roof to the outside. There's a floor above that in the courthouse, so it's, I mean, we might, there's no telling what's standing up there.
That's right.
For the water to get through there, it had to leak through a roof and then leak through a floor.
Again, yeah.
Mhm.
And it's, you know, chunks of it are falling in where, like I say, we can't ask people to be there, so.
That's right.
So gentlemen, I need an alternate courtroom, because there's
To
no
do
way.
business.
To do business. And, like I say, I'm not expecting you to have an answer now, we're all in this together, and I know this is the first you've heard of it.
Yeah.
But when I realized I was gonna have to close the courtroom, then I was getting with the sheriff about using the courtroom that was built as a courtroom over there, and it's not much bigger than this.
No.
But for first appearances, you know, when people are arrested, they got a right to have bond set, they got a right to be addressed by the judge, to tell what they're charged with, what the maximum and minimum penalties are, appoint a lawyer for them, and that's gotta be done
Quick.
quick. If, there's domestic violence situation, takes priority, that jumps ahead of everything, and that's gotta be done quick, and we can do that in this room. But as far as, jury trials, we.
Too many people.
Those first appearances, can they be done in the small
Oh, yeah,
courtroom?
we do, that's where we generally do
That's
them,
kinda
in the
what I
small
thought.
courtroom, so that's not a problem, but,
Well, we need a place for a jury trial, that's,
yeah. And we need an alternate place in case Metropolis does get hit. And right now, I mean, I think I need it reasonably expeditiously, because I think that's gonna be out of whack for 3 or
A
4
while.
months. Or, assuming you get a,
If there's damage up there in that crawl space, yeah, I'm sure it is.
Well, and assuming you approve a bid today and they get started, by the time you do what needs to be done, if somebody says we can get it done in 6 weeks, that really means 12 weeks. Because, I mean, it's gonna rain, there's gonna be unforeseen things that happen.
It's a bad time of the year, you know.
So,
And the weather, I think he told me had to be,
any
40
barn would
degrees.
work. If you knew a good empty barn, we could sure hold court. And that's been done before. It hasn't been done for a while, but it has been done.
What about the community center out
that's
behind the high
what
school?
I'm thinking. I'm wondering if it is, I would almost bet it's, wheelchair accessible, I believe.
Oh, it is.
What do you think so? What do you think about that?
Well, it's like, what I think we would need to do would be able to set it up where there could be a area that looked like a courtroom. You know, it was a courtroom, and if it wasn't, that shouldn't be in the way for using it for other purposes when we weren't needing it. But I mean, that's a big room. That's a big area.
That's probably about as big as your big courtroom, isn't it?
It's bigger. I
Is
believe
it? It's
I'm
bigger.
sure it's bigger.
yeah.
And it's, what kind of access would we have to that? Would the county have to?
I don't know, we'd have to see the mayor, yes.
No,
I'm not talking about IGA, I'm talking about, youth
Out
fairgrounds.
behind the high school.
Oh. Well, I don't know how big that one is, I don't know.
Oh, it's plenty
It's
big.
big.
It's plenty big.
Well, I think,
Yeah, they stay real busy with this other one. Yeah, that.
Except for the youth fair, and that usually, if it's in use or rented, it's generally during the weekends, isn't it?
it's always scheduled when it's, I would, I'll have to check and see who does the scheduling, but I mean, we can book it up if we need to,
Is that county property?
yes.
Because really what would need to be done for the alternate courtroom, there's like a computer set up in Larry's office that's tied in with Judici. I mean, we'd need to get a computer set up out there and have it where we could actually operate it as a courtroom. If there was not a, see, the reason we went with the jail, because there's a generator over there, there's a room that's on the plans designated to be a courtroom. But it's just not gonna work for jury trials any more than our small courtroom would. So, there's nothing set for trial the rest of this month, and there's really, I don't think, but when it does come up, if it goes to trial, we need to have an alternate place set up because defendants have a right to be tried.
Yeah.
To face the jury and their peers in the county where the crime was allegedly committed.
I really wish you'd talk them into just pleading guilty if they're guilty. Wouldn't that be simpler?
Well, like
That's Patrick's job, isn't it?
like one of the folks said when they was in there in court and he was testifying, remember him well, and you'd know him, Gerald, if I mentioned his name, but he was on the witness stand, and he said, I'll tell you, gentlemen, it doesn't matter how thin a pancake is, it's always got 2 sides.
Well,
So you know,
he's right there.
Do you want me to see what's scheduled out there and get with you, or what?
Well, I would love to go see what it looks like.
Okay, yeah,
How quick could we do that?
pretty quick, I think.
Okay, good. And I'm sure it's big enough. I mean, I haven't been out there when it wasn't full of people.
Is that out by Carty Road, is that the one?
Yeah.
Okay, I know, yeah, I've been in there.
And I mean, I'll try to run off a copy of that administrative also, the Illinois courts, so you can kind of see, because it kind of says what minimum courtroom sizes are supposed to be for jury trials, and they're not that big. I think it's like I say, you could get 4 of them in the upstairs courtroom.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And you say that you're gonna take estimates, and it looks like you're gonna be able to start working on that roof on the inside?
Yeah.
Very good.
What, you know, you mean, on inside the courtroom?
Yeah, I mean, of course, there's no sense working on the inside
Until the outside's fixed.
That's, yeah.
But I think both need to be done. We need to know that it's environmentally and structurally safe before we ask the citizens to
That's
stay here.
Yeah.
That's right.
Are you gonna get a copy of that quickly, or?
I'll have a copy, I'll get it for you pretty, oh, yeah, it's not what we would need to follow for setting that up. That's just what we need to follow.
Otherwise, I need your phone number so I can get back with you here directly. I mean, if you're, sure.
Hi, John, nice to meet you.
We have one commissioner that's not here today.
Under the weather?
I had a
ladder
letter.
working or something. Well, tell us something.
I didn't know who you were. I went out there and told Robin, I said, hey, send him by. I said, we haven't met him and we need to meet him.
Yeah,
See
well,
what
I'm
we
Bill
can do
Hartley,
for you.
and I've been here since June. Been in healthcare for forever, I guess. I was up at El Dorado for 10 years, and Harrisburg a few years before I come down here, so. Been around Southern Illinois for quite a while, and I think it's a great hospital. We got good equipment, and we can just get through Obamacare and survive with that, because boy, I just don't know what the reimbursement's gonna bring to us with all these changes, so.
Would you bring any new ideas down with you?
Well, not a lot. This new surgery center is gonna be a good thing for us once we get going with that.
10th Street.
Yeah,
I've been to that.
we just, had our first meeting of that board. That's gonna be
Talking about the one.
the orthopedic one we're gonna
Canada
build.
property.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so the orthopedic guys from Paducah will bring all that business over here, so it'll be kinda nice to have business coming our way instead of going across the river, so, and we hope to have that open by the end of the year, so that's kind of a target date, but we got a lot of work to do between now and then to get it built and ready to go, but, we're on target for that, and, that's probably the main project we're working on right now, and we need new ambulances. You haven't got any funds to help us buy an ambulance anywhere, do you?
Oh, you got so much money, we can't even keep it counting.
Yeah, we all have that trouble, don't we?
One of those Humvees.
Yeah.
How many ambulances do you have?
We've got 4, and we had 3 in the shop yesterday, so, they're all about 10 years old or older, and, so we got one of them back yesterday, and supposed to get another one back today, so, it's kind of a constant battle, keep them working on and keep them.
What does the ambulance cost?
All ballpark, you're probably talking 150,000. You can probably get one a little less, and, you know, we're looking at some refurbished to see if we can do something that way, and and they've talked about you can even pull the box off your existing one and buy a chassis, and you know, that's cheaper
Put the
too,
box
so
back on.
we're looking at all the options just to see what, you know, may work, but it's, say, it's expensive.
Yeah.
And that's another thing, we don't get paid for half those runs, so it's a tough one to do. But we're glad, we got a good service, and we've moved it back in-house now. We're not up at the old fire garage anymore, and that's helped us quite a bit, having them back in-house, so.
Have they got a facility to put them in out there at the hospital, or?
They just sit outside all the time now, and we keep the guys and gals in the hospital, so,
Keep them plugged up?
yeah. So, and like on some of these cold days, they go out and let them run for a while and make sure they keep going, so.
Yeah.
So we're doing a pretty good job maintaining them, so.
What was just, when you had up there at the old garage, just, wasn't anything for the drivers and all to do, or?
Yeah, and you know, it's like everything else, if you're out of sight, you know, you tend to do some other things,
I
and
understand.
it's a little easier to keep them in-house and keep an eye on them, so, you know.
Yeah,
And we can use them, you know, they work on the nursing floor and work in emergency rooms, so they can help us out that way when they're not out doing runs, so
That's
that helps out too, so.
I guess it costs a lot to heat that building up there.
Yeah,
probably.
yeah, there was a lot of utilities and rent and everything, so that was some money we just saved by not having to do that, so, it's working out pretty good, so.
Or you just haven't paid rent up there.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, until you had rent and utilities, that was a certain amount of money each month, so we cut all that out, so. Any way to save a little money is what we're trying to do, so.
That's right.
Any other questions or anything I can answer for you guys?
Not necessarily. What,
Right.
well, maybe, what's your connection between the new surgery center that's gonna be built? I mean, what kind of partnership is there?
That's 5149. The orthopedic guys have 51, we have 49. So it's a model. If you're aware of the one up in Heron, Illinois, that's a combination of the orthopedic group and Southern Illinois Healthcare out of Carbondale, and it's the same model that we're trying to replicate down here. So you know, hopefully we'll get a lot of surgeries over here, and you know, it'll be good for both of us and just the business in town, and probably 25 new jobs with it, and you know, so that'll every little bit helps.
What kind of surgeries will they do? I mean, just,
Only orthopedic and podiatry, but they've got 8 or 9 surgeons in that group, and they're recruiting 3 more. So they'll do anything from, you know, the foot for the podiatry up doing back. They'll do some back surgeries outpatient. They'll be all outpatient procedures, but they do backs, and they say they'll get to the point doing joint replacements on an outpatient basis. So I thought, well, that's really progressed, you know, and then if they have to stay overnight or something, we can always admit them to the hospital here, and they'll help us by having more business too. So it should be a good win for everybody. We're excited about it. That's gonna be a neat project, and do that a lot for the community.
Will they be able to do diabetes work on feet and all that there?
The podiatrist does a little bit of that, you know, for some surgery for that, but most of that they'll probably see at their office in Paducah.
Well, I don't know what questions to ask.
Okay, well, you know, if you're ever out at the hospital or have any, call out there, come out and see me, whatever, and do that, and, you know, well, I'll try to come back every 6 months or a year and just say hello
Step
and
in,
kinda
yeah.
update you a little
Yeah,
bit, so
sounds good.
we do that, so.
All right.
Okay,
Well,
well,
thank you for coming by.
Nice to
Good
meet you all.
We'll get us a cup of coffee out there sometime.
Well, we can do that.
Thank you.
Nice to meet
Good
you.
to meet you.
It happens. Hey, are we meeting with, today, or what's going on?
I haven't heard any different.
Okay.
Supposed to do 11 today.
As far as I know, I can't remember. I meant to get a hold of Patrick next week. and I
She
didn't.
just told me that Windhorse was out of town, but he would be back today. I don't know what time she didn't say, so. Joe, have you talked to Long John about what's the name of the subdivision out there, King County?
Hickory
The lake.
Lake.
The Hickory Lake, that culvert out there.
You talking about
Kruger.
Johnny Kruger?
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what Hickory Lake subdivision is. What road is it on? Off on?
George May Lane.
George May, okay.
Yeah, it is, down on the left.
Recently?
Well, he came by the house, all about last Tuesday night, and we went out there, and the north entrance, the gravel entrance, that, he kinda indicated that, double wide up there, north of it there, maybe gave a problem. He said the water has increased out there before it's running over that culvert. And, he thought he needed to replace it, or, I know on a deal like that, I don't know how that works on, with the county on something like that. It's not a county road, but, and the culvert's not bad, it's just, I guess, too small.
Well,
You know what I'm talking about?
I know about where you're talking about. I mean,
Right there,
I've
it'd
been
be
out
right
there
there
a
at
few
George
times.
May Lane, that doesn't go under George May, it goes under his road to the subdivision.
Right, right. I mean, generally speaking, you know, private culverts for driveways or private roads like that, I mean, we do install the culvert just like we do on a normal driveway. I mean, somebody buys the pipe and we put it in.
Yeah, okay.
You know, if that one is too small, I don't know. I mean, not to be critical, but I don't think I've analyzed the pipe yet that's the right size in the whole county, so. That's just the way it is. I mean, I don't know if it's too small, we
Well, it could be.
possibly could think about increasing it, but as far as, you know, that's concerned, I guess I've not run into that scenario before, as far as the pipe still being good.
Yeah, well, and it could be, debris, you know.
It could be half filled with silt.
Mhm, that's right.
So, well, all we can do is go out there and look at it, see what we can do to improve the drainage and
Yeah.
get it going. I mean, I don't know if,
Well, that comes down, George May Plus comes out of his subdivision down his road and meets there and goes under.
yeah, and if somebody has, you know, added ditching or changed something, and, you know, since it was installed, I mean, that could have had an impact on it.
Yeah,
If it was always that way, then I don't, you know, maybe it's filled up, or maybe it's just, you know, those culverts are only designed for a certain amount of rain too, so if it runs over regularly, there's something wrong. If it runs over in a huge rain, that's gonna be normal.
yeah. Okay.
But this dry salt,
That's for salt, yes.
I didn't know that's some for your brine or what that was.
Yeah, we mix all the brine ourselves, that's just for the rock salt.
What makes you go, I mean, do you bid that out, or how's,
Every year we have to like project for the next year as to how much salt we think we'll need. And it's, the state bids it out on the state pricing, which, you know, we'll get better pricing that way.
Yeah.
It's the whole state. So we just include the amount that we assume on the state bid. And, when it gets bid out on that level, then we get a contract to them, saying it's at a certain time. If we had to go out and buy it individually, it'd be higher per ton. So like what we're using this year, right now, Larry had to, when he
Yeah.
was here, assume what we would use back about a year ago, last March, which, that's how it worked.
Well, you're getting an opportunity to use a little bit more than what Larry did last few years.
Yeah, we are, you know, we got a good opportunity this
he
year.
didn't say that was a blessing, he said it was an opportunity.
I'm getting indoctrinated pretty well this year, hopefully.
But yeah, he's been broke in pretty rough.
I know Jason's kind of been bringing it up every time, and he's not here this morning, but we do have those intersection warning signs up.
I seen them, yep.
On North Avenue now before you hit Country Club.
Seen them like probably the first day you put them up. They showed up to me.
And I've got, you know, I'm still been checking on
Joe,
Oh,
Jason,
I'll get it.
One of our Joes,
yeah, one of
our
the
regular Joes.
Still been checking on the pricing for different flashing lights and options there. Those, apparently, you know, the stop signs you were talking about with the LEDs in
Yeah.
it, those operate on solar and they're actually more expensive than the flashing beacon. They're, oh, I'm sorry, they're not. Yeah, they are, they're almost, the stop sign with the LEDs in them, you get a 48-inch one like we put up, $1,875
Wow.
for the sign.
Pretty pricey, isn't it?
Yes,
Or
sir.
it sounds like it.
Yes, sir.
He's proud of it.
The cheapest.
But they're pretty.
Yeah.
They are, that's kind of neat. The cheapest option would be a hard wired
Light.
light. You know, and that's just a matter of getting electric service and then we would have, you know, if we couldn't get one of the electric providers to put the bill for that, we'd have to pay that.
Yep.
You know, every month. So I don't know how that, unless you would run into electricity costs there. That'd be the least option.
How many of them do you have, do you know?
There was 7.
3, 4, 5, 6. I only counted 6, so we shorted you one somewhere. I didn't hand you one back already, did you?
No, there's 7.
Oh, was there? Okay.
But that was that. I mean, we can talk about that again sometime when
Yeah.
Jason's here if you want. I did get that letter that you sent to me from the post office. I don't know if you guys got a copy of that. I looked at that and wanted to talk to me about that today, but
What's your thoughts on that? Do you know what they're talking about or what they're wanting?
well, I
Have you read it?
understand what they say here and wanted, but I would sure, this letter just seems to be a little, I don't know, I mean, I would want to see their report, first of all, and I would want to know who is a member of the Serious Accident Review Committee and what their credentials are and how they would base this decision, and, I mean, and all of that, and not that they may not need to have any credentials, it may just need to be 3 guys that get together and say, gee, that's dangerous out there,
Yeah.
they look what I, you know, I understand. I'd like to see the accident report too. It says the sheriff's office stated that road engineering was a major factor. Well, they may have put that in there, but that couldn't have been the major causing factor. I mean, because, I know the road is not up to good standards as far as the hills and the peaks and even the width. But we went out there and measured it. The width is 18 foot wide, and if you stay on your own side,
Or more than enough room?
you should have enough room. And
What hit him?
It was
Another
another vehicle come over top the hill, I guess. It was some teenagers or,
I think
There was
some hundreds,
3.
wasn't they?
pardon?
Wasn't they hundreds?
I thought it was teenagers, maybe young
Well,
people.
Maybe it was.
from what I heard, it was a son and his dad.
Okay.
Two sons and a dad.
Okay, and one of the sons that was driving may have had a learner's permit or something, and the dad was with him, you know, so it was legal. But I don't know, I've heard tell both ways, that the postman was in the middle of the road, and he got whacked because he was over too far, and I've heard that the other people was in the middle of the road too. They may have both been.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'd like to see the police report. But my initial thoughts on it is, I appreciate the letter, but this is typical of our society now. It's a knee-jerk
Yeah.
reaction to do something, to put a Band-Aid on something that's a cancer. I mean,
Yeah.
you cannot
You
fix
still
it
gotta
by
be on your
science.
side of the road.
These people, the people that hit the mayor, lives out there, the mayor's driven that road 100,000 times before, they know the condition of this road. Signs only help people that haven't been on the road before. These people know the conditions of the road, know the hills, know the dangers of it. Signs is not gonna help that. I
Well,
mean,
you just gotta learn to country drive. When you're coming up a hill on the gravel road,
Get
you
on
get
your side
over.
of the road, yeah.
and not that I'm not making light of it, I hate it that he got hit, and I hate it that it happened that way. But I would wanna more look into maybe trying to do something to cut some of the hills down in the future rather than put signs out there. signs is just one of those things that I just think is overly stated, overly done, and overly envisioned as the cure-all, and it's just not.
No.
Is Dorothy Purcell the only one that lived on that road, or is there another?
I don't know as far as who lives actually on that road, and I don't even know what that road leads to. I'm sure it leads to other
There's several
people
drives off that road, but now she's, I think, maybe the only one that
Comes
lives
from
out
what, Mount Pleasant and goes over to Mill Springs
Yeah.
Road?
Mhm. So, I mean, I appreciate what they're trying to do here. I mean, they're trying to,
save a problem.
right,
I don't know that it's,
but I don't necessarily agree that signing is the answer. I mean, you know, and
I think speed may have been a factor, Joe, is what I've understood.
And I don't know, you know, I don't know if this review committee, if this is a United States Postal Service type thing, or if it's just a couple of gals that got together at the Brookport office there and said that. You know, there's nothing to explain that. There's nothing, there's no report that backs up this letter. You know,
there's not much to it.
no,
Ain't no meat.
in, you know, the major issue with, okay, if we did, I'm not gonna say, well, I don't really wanna use the word cave in, but if we obliged them here and put signs out there, put it that way, where do we stop? I mean, there are roads all over the county that's in nearly the same shape. We'd have to put 1,000 signs out on every hill like this to make sure that, you know, you cover all the situations, and it's just not, it's not feasible. You know.
I don't really know what a sign would say.
Well, there are a few, you could make, I mean, the MUTCD has some signs in there that, you know, like, that says like hill blocks view, something of that nature. And in the MUTCD, there is a provision to where you could actually make your own message that's message specific and put it on there. I mean, I don't know how often that's used. You know, but the deal is you just have to have it on a standard yellow diamond of the right dimension and the right material.
Original.
Thing.
I might be able to read it a little better. I don't know.
Well, I can read it all. I mean, I've got the same thing.
Well, what's our plan of action? Are you wanting to look at the?
Well, I don't know. That's why I wanted to talk to you about it. I don't know what we need to do as far as a response to this, or if we need to respond to this, or if we just need to put it in the minutes that we discussed it, and, I don't know.
I mean, you might look at the
I could write it.
sheriff's report, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't spend a lot of time on it right now. I mean,
I mean, I agree.
It's just-
The situation out there is less than desirable. I mean, but we've got roads
But
all
you
over the
can't-
county
yeah,
that's less
you
than
can't.
desirable.
I mean, you may get out of bed and stub your toe tomorrow, or you're gonna stay in bed all day, you know? Or are you gonna be careful?
Yeah. I mean, it's,
Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm a firm believer that all accidents could have been avoided. I mean, somebody's at fault.
yeah, I mean, but I'm sure that John Clafer has probably delivered mail out there every day for the past, I don't know how many
Oh,
years,
okay.
and, you know, how many times has he actually met a car on that hill? I don't know. Maybe never. Maybe this was the first time. I don't know. But,
It's just one of them, it's called life. There's risk.
yeah, I mean, and we actively, like last year, that hill that was out there on Benton Road, I don't know if you ever drive out on Benton Road very much, out on the north part of the county, we spent several weeks cutting that hill off and trying to make it more gradual to where sight distance is better.
Where
I
would
mean,
it be?
Between New Columbia Road and where, I guess the Logans used to have hog.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know where you're at, yeah.
You know, we spend a lot of money, a lot of time cutting that hill down, and, you know, we actively do that every year. We try to pick something to work on to better our system.
Improvements, yeah.
We can't do it all at once, I mean, but this out here is a candidate for that at some point in time, trying to cut some of them down, trying to do something about it, the actual condition of the road rather than would never disagree that we should maybe try to do that as money permits and money allows and as time allows. We might wanna try to start flattening that road out a little bit or trying to do something like that. But, you know, we also have to look at, you know, the average daily traffic, you know, the
Yeah.
higher traffic counts, the more traveled roads or the
It's
more
gotta be a weighted-
urgent ones.
a
than
weighted
others.
thing, yeah.
Right, we can't just jump to a road in the back of the county that you have 5 cars on in a day when you have one that has 50 on it in a day, and it's a lot, it's the same shape, you know, so, but I'll, you know,
Well,
whatever we need to do, we'll look
Will
into
Sheriff
it
be
more.
in today, or have anybody talked to Ted, or?
I don't,
I hadn't heard a peep out of him. I was just curious, if he comes in, you want me to ask him to get us a report of that?
Yeah, I can go down to his office
Okay,
too. and
all
ask
right.
for-
Yeah,
for-
but I'll let you handle it, Tim.
I've got a lot going on today with this meeting, and I've got
Yeah,
a
you
bid,
got
I've got a
the bid,
bid opening
yeah.
later today for those bridges up there.
Yeah.
I may not be able to do anything about it today, but
Yeah, you're not gonna put signs up today either, are you?
no. Yeah, we're trying to still handle some of the stuff that was on the roads for Sunday, and
Yeah.
and actually maybe we're trying to pre-treat a little bit for today. We don't really know what it's gonna do yet. Trying to pre-treat the county highways anyway, in case it does come down as freezing rain. Maybe it'll help out a little.
Yeah. Had anybody griping at you yet?
Yeah.
A little bit?
Some.
Yeah, keep your skin thick, you'll be all right.
Most of the time is, you can find something to complain about.
Oh, yeah. Well,
At least,
my opinion is some of those people are gonna, you gotta take in consideration who you're talking to, because they're gonna gripe about something.
yeah.
Give them a free lunch, they, well, my belly hurts, wham, 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 you know.
All right, that's all I had today.
Okay,
Thank you.
have a great day, bud. We'll see you in a little while. Right here, it's over 42,000. Not too many, just a few, ain't there? Man, would you look at here, you're 43, 330, 383, and your grand total's less than that, 42,000. We can just about get down to that nothing.
Check.
John probably got a bunch of them over there that hadn't been paid yet.
there's some,
There's a
bunch.
stack of them, imagine. What's new and exciting?
Pick up people in the morning, fill the jail back up.
This weather keep them a little more isolated and easier to get
Yeah, well-
contact with.
January and February is always 2 months of the year where your population's down, and it picks back up in March. It's several people, we got warrants on in town, it's kinda hard sometimes to get them out of the house, just kinda trick them sometimes.
Well, I bet they won't run without their shoes on today very far, will they?
No.
Who was that was holed up in a trailer and wouldn't come out, and everybody left, and Bob hung around and caught him sneaking out the back window? This was just,
I don't know who that. I talked to sheriff out of Franklin County. He had some work done up there through Honeywell, I think heating and air work, either courthouse or jail. He said, had real good luck with them. When they put it out for bids, Honeywell come in under bid. He said whatever work they did was real good, just having trouble with them. So Jason's wanting me to find that out for him.
What's your numbers today in your hotel?
Well, I think if we got to pick up those two, we got like 38. And 43,000 was, that's the balance.
Yep.
I hope that's after payroll, yeah.
It is, yeah, it is.
Be some people coming in and make me call a lot of people.
First Tuesday of the month. Well, good Lord, that rascal been to the doctor twice. 11, 14, or just two different. More, well,
Did, Joe did an appeal for that FEMA money. Well, the government denied him first time around.
you know, I can't tell you.
The conference we had yesterday, the city manager from Washington, Illinois, said they just got done with their drafting their appeal to send to FEMA, I guess for a second opinion. He said IEMA was supposed to be in on their side this time. They were going to send them some different figures, so I don't know if they had, or if we had here or not.
He was gonna go see your office anyhow about a accident report where Mayor Clayfer was in that accident. You know what I'm talking about? We got a letter. Let's read. Is Preston on parole or anything, or
Preston,
Metzger?
I thought he was on parole out in Florida.
I would kinda bet so. I mean, many times he's been in trouble with grief. He's on parole somewhere and getting in trouble. Does that get the ball rolling faster, get him locked up somewhere and out of our hair?
See, they revoked him and took him back, and he served some time down there, and then they released him again. And then he come back up here and did that domestic matter, so I don't know if they're gonna, they would take him back.
He had some chick up in the hotel or something wouldn't let her out. Isn't that what he's?
It's written, yeah. That's been on again and off again. I mean, he'll beat her up, and she won't wanna file charges. And we've had more trouble with him in the last 30 days in jail than we've ever had. I think it's just my surprise.
Too much dope. He'd be a good example of what the kids need to see go to court, wouldn't he? When he works, what does he do you know?
I've always heard that he works construction out of town. I don't know if he's a millwright or what he does. Around here, I've never known him to do anything.
Yeah. Drugs in jail.
There's a lot of those guys that'll go out of state and they'll work a while, make some money, come back, and then
Go on a drunk
we
or
deal with
binge.
them till they're
Yep.
broke.
What do you think of that?
I figured something like that was, I mean, that's, since we couldn't determine who was at fault,
That's,
both sides are gonna play that game. And I mean, it's a bad spot, there's no doubt about it.
One of many.
Yeah, that's true. Patrick look at it, see what he does.
People just not educating that country driving.
Joe was gonna get a copy of the report and just see what, you know, if this was saying something that was actually in the report, or if it's just skewed in their direction, I guess.
And Bill made some reference to the width of the road, that's probably about all it was. Cause there at the top of that hill, it's a little narrow. That's probably one of the worst hills as far as going up and
Straight back down. Guys work a lot of wrecks.
I think yesterday, Jay, he said they had 4 or 5 on the interstate. No, Fairview Heights last 3 or 4 days, they hadn't had any snow up there.
All done.
Yeah.
That's all I had. That's all I got.
Nothing exciting here, that's a good thing, I think.